This episode is brought to you by the hit new series Fat Asshole. The lovable, relatable fat asshole eats food and watches American Ninja Warrior while abusing his wife verbally and emotionally. Tune in Wednesday nights on Fox. On this week's episode of The Video Store, Josh Nightflyers with the Watchmen don't fuck with cats, while Frank has a succession with the boys, being the last OG, and Josh turns into Mr. Robot while Frank becomes the Mandalorian. I lost my body 6 underground when Frank, the last man in San Francisco, watching Ad Astra, and we fought in the Star Wars with Uncut Gems doing the autopsy of Jane Doe, and Jay and Silent Bob visiting Zootopia with Bolt and Jexi.
Zootopia! Welcome to the Video Store Podcast. We are here to review movies, TV shows, and everything else that we've watched, as well as look ahead at what's streaming, on demand, out for rental, and in theaters. My name's Frank.
And my name is Josh. Happy New Year, Frank.
Happy New Year, Josh.
Happy New Year.
We already talked, but do we want to say what our New Year's Eve was like? Do we want to catch people up?
Nah, fuck that. They don't care about our personal lives.
They probably don't, If you do, I don't know.
Frank did a lot of dumb decisions, and Josh made adult, stupid, boring decisions. Congratulations,
better. Go to a hockey game before you bong champagne. That will be our little glimpse into our lives. Okay. Anyways, let's talk about movies and TV shows, what people really care about, and begin the show with some thoughts and trailers.
And Frank, today's thoughts and trailers is brought to you by I Can't Believe It's Not Goat's Milk, the #1 substitute hand-churned by Bavarian mistresses since 1862. We guarantee you'll be back for more.
Thank you, Josh. That was good. Up first is a trailer. I actually watched some trailers this week. I think maybe this year I'm going to just fucking watch trailers.
You should.
And give up on it.
Become a trailer aficionado.
Get back on the trailer train.
A trailer patroneur.
Yeah.
These are all bad words.
The Gentleman, which is coming out real soon. The Gentleman is coming out January 24th. This is the latest
so excited.
From Guy Ritchie, written and directed by... And it's Guy Ritchie back in his comfortable zone. It's about a British drug lord tries to sell off his highly profitable empire to a dynasty of Oklahoma billionaires. And what I got from the trailer, it's like old hustlers having a hard time letting go of their gang,
go of the game,
their territory to the new generation.
Yeah.
Real quick, this stars a bunch of great people, most notably Matthew McConaughey, Charlie Hunnam, Colin Farrell, Hugh Grant, Jason Wong, who I would like a lot. There's just a loaded cast, and I really like this trailer. I would have seen the movie anyway, so I didn't need to see the trailer. But
the trailer makes it it entices you, it gives you a little taste.
For sure, it looks like it's everything I hoped it would be. Just a fast-witted, smooth talking group of characters, and that Guy Ritchie classic action, very sophisticated gangster movie.
Oh my god, dude, it looks super great. And Hugh Grant, I think I don't know what the last thing you've seen him in, but I think this looks like a good suited role for him, and also a standout character. The only person I'm sad to see not in this movie is Taron Egerton. I think would have been lined out for the
sure.
right Guy Ritchie movie.
Yeah. I guess they haven't done anything yet. I don't think that would be a really good pairing.
I know, right? They I think Matt Vaughn did do
Layer Cake.
Well, not just Layer Cake, but the spy one. With,
the Kingsman, which is very Guy Ritchie. I know it's based off of a graphic novel, but you're right. That's got a very Guy Ritchie-esque feel. Yeah,
it's 6 degrees from that motherfucker, but. I'd say that's about the closest he gets, but I think he would just fit really well into that one of those roles. So maybe someday we'll see that. Either way, this looks fucking fantastic. If you're not a Guy Ritchie fan, become one. If you have seen any of the great Snatches, Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, Revolver, not as great, but interesting. Did you ever see Revolver?
Yeah, I love Revolver. I love it. It's good enough. I was actually thinking of not Revolver. What's the one before that? Rock'n'Rolla. I like
Rock'n'Rolla was great.
Yeah, Rock'n'Rolla I think is the last real good Guy Ritchie movie that was a Guy Ritchie movie.
Right. Totally agree. So, and mind you, they were always talking about they left Rock and Roll as a point of possible sequel, and we never think that's coming. But anything in his realm or universe, I get pretty excited about. So, looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad he went out of his comfort zone. I'm glad he's coming back to it and giving the fans like us what we want, which is just do once in a while. Just like it's like Tarantino or Kevin Smith, just do the thing we love every once in a while.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. I'm excited for that one. That's really cool to have something that like big and exciting in January.
Oh yeah.
In March, we have the sequel to one of my favorite films of 2018, I believe. It was The Quiet Place Part 2.
Shh.
Following the events at home, the Abbott family now face the terrors of the outside world. Forced to venture into the unknown, they realize that the creatures that hunt by sound are not the only threats that lurk beyond the sand path. This is again directed by John Krasinski, and he co-wrote it with Scott Beck. Spoiler alert: you'll know that some characters don't return if you've seen the first one, but Emily Blunt's back, and then Cillian Murphy has a character in this as well.
Yeah.
I was already in on this one, so I haven't quite seen this trailer yet. Just like
it's just a teaser.
Okay. I've seen that then, but I'm so fucking into this movie. I highly recommend seeing the first Quiet Place and then go see this one in theaters, because the first Quiet Place was one of the best examples of a movie that plays so much better in a theater than at home.
Yeah, no, I was a fan, so I mean, let's just see what they do with that story. I think it's fun that they just made it. Well, instead of some clever title, it's just A Quiet Place. Too.
Yeah, instead of like A Quieter Place, like what would you do?
Yeah, or The Quietest Place.
That'd be the third one, yeah.
The places that is the quietest.
I bet you that's what the studios want to call it. Like, it's a quieter place. Like, let's find a place they have to be even quieter. And
almost quiet place.
Cool. So yeah, I'm excited for both of those. That's our short thoughts and trailer segment.
That's it.
Moving on, our next segment is going to be TV time.
Yes, and this week's TV time is brought to you by Butt Touches, the mobile app that allows you to hand-deliver butt touches to your loved ones. Don't feel bad, feel butt touches.
Thank you, Josh.
No worries.
I love that we got sponsors now. We are big time in 2020.
I know. We are making money, and you are also having the ability and time to take drinks of water.
Bro, did that come on? Did you hear that? Hopefully other people didn't hear that. But when those butt touches and goat's milk checks come rolling in,
dude, it's serious cash. I don't know how much money I've told you that we've invested, but everything that we made is gone.
I'm thinking Wayne's World 2 money, baby. That's what I'm thinking.
We're liquid, baby.
Yeah.
We're liquid.
I can finally afford the Reebok pumps.
Well, you can afford one Reebok pump. Let's not get crazy.
They need to come back.
Do you like more?
Do you ever have Reebok pumps? Sidebar?
I had some pumps back in the day that I was like, hang on, motherfucker, this is going to get serious.
Why did that technology go away? I think it was great technology. Make your shoe a giant, like, heart pressure fucking test on your feet.
Yeah, I think they make similar things, and they have, like, compression socks and stuff like that. They probably they do more adult ways to make that seem reasonable. But, yeah, you would think maybe just Reebok pumps went into the medical business, and that's where they are now. But
possibly. We get them on the horn. Let's get Reebok pumps as a sponsor next episode.
We can try. I will work on that. I will have my people reach out to them. However, hang on. Let me get serious for a second. All right, I'm good.
All right.
Let's go. Let's fucking go.
All right.
Go?
Up first is a sci-fi series that's now available. Is just on the sci-fi app called Nightflyers. How'd you watch this? Or did you watch Netflix?
The big red button of justice.
That's interesting. Cool. So some sci-fi series are apparently on Netflix now. Nightflyers so far is a one.
They've had Z Nation on there, I think, for a while.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm not paying attention.
You're not fucking informed.
Yeah, but for those like me who are not informed about Nightflyers, there's 10 episodes. They're an hour apiece. It's just one season so far, and this is about a crew of scientists that embark on a mission aboard a ship called the Nightflyer to investigate a mysterious alien signal, but begin to question if there's already something on board the Nightflyer with them. Oh, that sounds familiar. I've seen like Alien or Life. That's always fun.
Well, this is a different avenue. I think that gives a generic description, but if you really had an idea after seeing the show, when they say something, you really... that is about it. It's not just, hey, some alien or something like that.
It's like a presence.
No, look, dude, you'd have to watch the fucking show to figure it out. I'm not going to sit here and spoil it for you.
Fair.
However, you know that I enjoy space. You know I enjoy science fiction. So these are things. And mind you, the first opening scene has such a good job of making you want to find out. They do one of those like in the middle of crazy situation scenes, and then the callback.
Cool, yeah. Like
however, did they get to that crazy ass fucking point? And then you watch these character stories and all this stuff. I'd just say for a lot of people that I'm not familiar with, I think there's only maybe one or two actors that I was a little familiar with. It's really well done. I think the visual concepts are great. There's no real menial CGI or anything. They kind of live in a space development that has everything they need to travel these types of distances because they're chasing this signal. And there's also
they're living on the ship. It's not like one of those things where they're in pods and they wake
correct.
up. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, no, there's full domes of like ecosystems and things like that.
Oh, like Passengers? Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some similar aspects in the we fucking live on this ship like we're gonna live on this bitch. Just all in all, very interesting. In this world, there's also psychic / telepath. There's a psychic element. There is some future concepts in there at some different points. But
so it's like a spiritual, like sci-fi, like Stephen King type thing.
So the concept is that these the energy, the type of energy that these telepaths give off is the same type of energy that they've kind of received this signal of that they believe is, alien life or something of that. So they think that the telepath is going to be the only one that's going to be able to communicate or, with alien life because they both have this same energy spike or signal, whatever you want to call it. However, in this world, these psychics are very frowned upon because they're, too powerful. A lot of terrible things can happen. There's some incidents on there's a lot of different elements.
So psychics are like, they're considered like it's a real thing in this world. Like psychics have a huge role in everyday life. They can
go through your thoughts and control shit. Yes, there is like a legitimate. It's not just real space. There's also, it's definitely, when they say science fiction, there's definitely a fiction element. However, I think a lot of it is done well. There's a lot of fun little things that happen while these people are trying to stay on their main task. And watching these characters develop, there's some good emotional moments that hold strong. I think it's just it was an interesting show for sci-fi. I mean, I've seen a lot worse shit out there.
Now, does it work as a standalone season? Do you like feel like there's things?
I'd be excited to see more for sure.
Is there a cliffhanger? Or does it work as like its own thing?
Yeah, I believe I'm trying to because we've had this list for a minute, and that was one of the first things I put on it. There's a little bit of recall going on right now, but
fair.
I would say that, yes, there was somewhat of a cliffhanger, and I would like to see more of the show. It was an interesting group of characters. I'd like to see their storyline continue.
So it's a recommendation for you?
Yeah, if you're into these types of shows. If you're not a fan of space or science fiction or, a little bit of fantasy here and there, it's not going to be for you. So it's more over if this falls in line with your kind of thing.
Sounds like it's not a show that's going to bring you to the sci-fi genre, but if you appreciate sci-fi and like spaceship dramas, then you'll dig this.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I finished the Watchmen, which might be a standalone season, might be recurring because it's been so successful. Have you checked any of these out yet?
I saw like one episode and I just decided I'm gonna wait, man.
Okay, well now you can binge them all because they're all available. This is created by your boy Damon Lindelof. They did 9 episodes. They're all on HBO Go right now. They're about an hour apiece, and this is a continuation of the Watchmen book, which is slightly different than the Watchmen movie. And it's set in an alternate history where masked vigilantes are treated as outlaws. Watchmen embraces the nostalgia of the original novel while at the same time attempting to break new ground of its own. So that description is more of like a selling point. What I liked about this show, one, the cast was amazing. I know you're a big fan of The Leftovers, and there was a lot of people that work with Lindelof, like Regina King in that.
Oh my God, Regina King is super great.
Yeah, this is the show more than anything else, and she was really great in If Beale Street Could Talk, which was a couple years ago. But to me, she's like an unused, underrated actress, and she shines more than anyone else.
She's not. If you saw fucking Leftovers, man, it's only season 2 is she into play, but wow.
I bet. Yeah, she plays the Sister Knight, aka Angela Abar character. She's one of the like closest thing to like the Watchmen, because they're all new characters in this. Like there are some Vite and Dr. Manhattan are around. So there are some of the original Watchmen, but there's a lot of new characters.
How's the violence?
Very violent, very like the comic book and like the movie, a lot of social commentary. It deals with racism, so I don't want to spoil too much, but it was in the trailers where there's a group of white nationalists that kind of rally around Rorschach, which was an interesting interpretation because I don't remember the book too much.
Because masks means fucking hoods.
Yeah, I guess. I never thought of Rorschach. I never took his character as a racist. But
he wasn't a racist. He hated all rapists equally.
Yeah, like that was interesting. And then Jeremy Irons plays Adrian Veidt, and he's fantastic in it. The casting in this is fantastic. Tim Blake Nelson.
Wait a minute, Jeremy Irons?
Yes.
Like, fucking Jeremy Irons like Scar? Jeremy Irons?
Yeah, Jeremy Irons. Veidt is the
Jeremy
character.
Irons like Die Hard with a Vengeance, Jeremy Irons?
The one and only, yes.
Simon Says, Jeremy Irons?
Still the same Jeremy Irons, the one and
That's
only.
my jam!
But yeah, so he's fantastic. So Veidt is one of the original Watchmen. He's the character that from the movie, he's like the CEO type who's trying to solve, like, you know, bring world peace and all that and save the world through like a very corporate style. And then Tim Blake Nelson is another character highlight. He plays Looking Glass. You love him?
Well, we haven't seen him since that Coen Brothers jam, I think, right?
He does little things. Yeah, you're talking about The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. He's awesome in this. So just a great pairing. Don Johnson in this as well.
Dude, what is up with the Don Johnson return?
The Johnson Sans, the Donaissance. The Donaissance, yeah. He's just like, he went away for like 20 years. It's like he was frozen, and then people are like, oh yeah, this guy was
Let's
the biggest...
that motherfucker. He was a pretty good character, Dad.
Dude, he was the biggest TV star for like a decade in Miami Vice. Like, I remember being a kid and I thought Miami Vice, and I thought Don Johnson was cool for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, he probably was pretty cool at the time.
But yeah, I think this is a great show. It has a lot of things to say about modern society, modern politics, and the comic book genre, the superhero genre. And it's a show that, unlike what you were saying about Nightflyers, I think if you have zero interest in comic book adaptations or never read a comic book, you can still like this show, just because it's so well made and it deals with some really big ideas in a unique way. And it's just a great fucking drama that it's my favorite show of this past year of 2019. So I highly recommend it, whether or not you are a fan. And I know some people don't want any adaptations of The Watchmen. And I guess if you just are predetermined to hate anything that is adapted from that book, you might not like it. But anyone else, I think, would enjoy the show.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's something that I will eventually watch. I'm not ready to emotionally engage yet.
I feel it. Yeah, sometimes that's weird. Like, you know something, you're going to love it, but you're just not ready. You're like,
I'm not ready.
You're like saving it.
You see that girl and you're like, you're beautiful, but I'm just not ready.
Yeah, I'm not ready to enjoy things yet. I'm not ready to enjoy this. Yeah, I feel it.
I enjoy hating my life right now. Thank you very much.
Well, that's a topic for another podcast. Moving on. You saw this Netflix documentary series called Don't Fuck with Cats, Hunting Internet Killer. It's a TV mini series, so it's about an hour total each episode or whatever.
I didn't time it, but okay.
Yeah. How many episodes have there been?
Maybe like 4.
Okay. Is it still ongoing? I'm confused about this.
No, I think that's kind of a signed, sealed, delivered situation.
It says 3 episodes then. Looks like there's
maybe 3. It was 3. I was fucking one off. I'm sorry.
Okay, cool. So there's 3 episodes. They're about an hour apiece. It's about a group of online justice seekers tracking down a guy who posted a video of him killing kittens. That sounds familiar, that viral situation.
Yeah.
So this is a straight up documentary, right?
Yeah.
Ish.
I mean, it's about a situation that happened and the people involved, or some of the people involved, in their perspectives.
Okay. Is it exploitive? That stuff like this just concerns me. Like, I don't know. Like, why does this documentary exist? What is it?
That is a good question. I will say that.
Yeah. Thank you.
No worries. Fucking, gumbo over here. I don't know. It just kind of popped up. It was like, hey, this is a new thing. And then right off the bat, I'm like, oh, that seems fucking terrible. I'm like, why does this exist? I'm like, all right, let's watch the first episode in a sense of, satire.
Yeah.
And the first episode, and mind you, the way some of these people talk is retarded, and the way they set up their perspective, could have been like a Microsoft PowerPoint deal with like, and then I logged in and I just there were so many likes, and then this is how fucking Facebook works, and this is how you can pretend to be different people. And then
so they just let the people narrate themselves, like they're not really being directed.
I mean, they talk, I'm sure there was some script in there, but they talk about just basically these people that saw this video, and then a couple of the main people involved in creating a Facebook group to try and track this dude down. And then it turns out this guy, mind you, I mean, it's like 1 in a million for that guy to come across ridiculous shit like this and then see a reoccurring situation and then have him engage online with the people seeing the video. Usually, like, you see terrible shit videos, those people don't go back and look online to see what the comments were, or posted. It's like some, a guy posted some terrible shit. But to be able to be the guy that was like, oh, I'm going to fucking post this stuff. And the very dramatic story that's alleged behind all of this stuff, and the person that they caught and put in jail for it. I mean, seems like that guy totally did do this shit. Tried to make up some like false person, and there was some really weird stretches. They were like, he loves movies and and he was using like Casablanca or some shit, and Casino, or the movie Casino, and certain names. Oh, a lot of Sharon Stone and the leg crossing situation. Was that movie?
Yeah, Basic Instinct.
Basic Instinct, yes. That came, for some reason, largely into play with some of the names that this kid used. Yeah, there's a lot of weird fucking shit, and some of the things that are how they're represented is just really dumbed down and stupid.
It sounds bizarre, dude.
It is weird. And although the story, I did want to, like, I would have rather watched this in an informative standpoint, in like a news segment, or like a 60 Minutes episode,
like more fact based, not like all this drama surrounding it.
Yes, you don't need all of this other like made up shit and weird dumb metaphors. And when the guy says something about like, it was links to something about, it was a metaphor, and he's saying like pussy, and I think in reference to like cats. And I'm just like, why is this even happening right now? Yeah, there's some weird shit. However, the person that seemed deranged, and it was more of that sense of like, this guy totally did do this shit. And it's a really, I don't know. It's just, there was so much drama behind the situation where you would think it would just be like, they found this terrible person who did terrible stuff, and then they arrested him for it. But all of this other drama and the vain sense, and the guy trying to be like a male model, and all these pictures they found, and the anonymous tips.
Oh, God.
And all of this extra.
It's like serial killing profiling. Yeah, like it's. I
don't know, dude. It's so much. There was a lot more stuff in there than what I expected.
So, sorry to cut you off, but it feels like even with 3 episodes, so I've cautiously watched some of these like true crime shows on Netflix, and I feel like it's such a itch that needs to be scratched constantly. It's so popular.
It's like IDTV though.
Yeah, like
all the moms love to watch that shit. And then the killer came home in the middle of the day.
For sure, it's a huge industry now, and it has rabid fans that like consume so much of it that like anything.
Did he do it? Did he not do it?
Yeah, so
where's
like
the murder weapon?
So much stuff gets passed through, and I feel like when they try to dramatize this stuff, it can be like higher art. It could be a good documentary, or it could. This sounds like very much like a college student film, like all the weird shit they added, and
it's pretty bizarre, man.
It also sounds like they didn't need to be 3 episodes, from what you're saying.
Could have been. I mean, they could maybe two. I would have been fine with one full movie length, like with a couple. That'd have been fine. They didn't need any of these cliffhanger bullshits. But I wanted to ensure, because of a man who loves animals and stuff. Mind you, this guy ended up eventually killing a person too.
Jesus Christ.
But I love animals and shit. So I was like, man, I need to know for my own sake of mine. They caught this dude. So I kind of started to like segment over it. I'm like, all right, they caught him. All right, they got him. All right,
for sure. Do they show animals being harmed? Because I feel like we should.
No, I would say there is a warning for like you have like 15 seconds, and it's not like direct at. It's like the right before. And honestly, I'm not even going to talk about what this dude did, because that gives that dude more power. It's a terrible human being, and honestly, we should throw his ass in fucking prison, and we shouldn't glorify what he did in any portion of the word. That
was my final question. Do you feel like it's exploitive, and does it like give this guy too much attention? Do you feel like this movie served a series? Did it serve a purpose? Like,
maybe, you know what? Maybe when they first released the fucking internet and teaching people how to use Facebook and how you can pretend to be anyone you want and catfish or some shit, like maybe something like that. But not particularly. I think.
Okay.
I think they're trying to pull certain strings, like, hey, people love animals. This is a terrible story that actually happened, and it drew a lot of national media attention. This guy, like, flew, let's try to escape from Canada to Europe, and they found him somewhere, and whatever the fuck. I think it would have been a better informative story about terrible people, like an episode of like, hey, this is one of these terrible people, and this is their story, and these are the facts behind it. We didn't need the perspective of these other stupid ass motherfuckers.
Cool. All right, moving on. Final thought. Would you recommend it? I know you just. It's very interesting, and I'm glad we spent some time on it, but we can't, we can't talk.
Good. All I would say is, how about this? Just don't fuck with cats.
Fair enough. I feel like then we don't have to watch it. The moral of the story is the title. I've been binging a lot of TV. That's why this episode is like very chunky and like a double episode. I started watching HBO's Succession. I have one episode left of the 2 seasons, and this follows a dysfunctional American family that is like a global media dynasty. The business... They own a lot of businesses. The best way I could describe what these people own, it's like if Disney and Fox News were one thing, and kind of is now. They have like this
racist and old.
Exactly. They have like a very right wing news company, like a Fox News company. They also own like a theme park and a cruise line.
What was Homeboy's news company? The dude that was the ugly munchkin that we used to sit behind Trump. What's that dude's name? Steve something.
Are you talking about? You're talking about fucking Alex Jones?
No, dude, not the InfoWars
Steve
guy.
Mnuchin?
No, not Mnuchin. The guy that was like pulling the strings that has the news.
Yeah. Fuck, I forget, but fuck that guy. Anyways,
Steve or Bill or dumbass.
It's about this Roy family, and this show really just highlights how great Brian Cox is. Brian Cox plays Logan Roy. He's the patriarch of the family. He has 2 sons, Roman Roy, played by Kieran Culkin, my favorite Culkin, who's just like a fucking...
Hey, take that back.
Cokehead, like party boy. He's just doesn't really take things fully serious, but he's also quick-witted, says whatever on top of his mind, and so there's some value to that. His brother is played by Jeremy Strong, Kendall Roy. I've never seen him in anything before, but he is the perfect smarmy, weaselly, fucking rich guy. He's amazing in this. And then another newcomer for me, anyway, Shiv Roy is the sister and the daughter of Brian Cox's character, played by Sarah Snook, and she's outside of the family. She runs a media company. She's in the beginning of the show. She's helping a senator run a campaign. And this show is all about just high society, and these people are fucking rich beyond anyone's imagination.
White people problems.
Yeah, rich white people problems. It's basically to hate fuck billionaires. It's the latest in like hating rich people stuff, but this show is so well acted. Each episode it's done like film, like it's shot like film. The performances are fantastic. The drama and the inner workings of, different characters clashing is fantastic. And it does have a lot to say about American media, the class system, politics, business, stocks, all this shit. Or just greed, like American greed. It's a very Today show. It's like very much in the present. It feels like it's pacing like current events and current times, which I really appreciate, and it's really well done.
Damn white people problems
for sure. There's 20 episodes currently.
That's a lot of episodes.
Season 3 will be out next year at some point. It's one of the best dramas. Not a genre that I usually care for is dramatic TV, but this is so well done, dude, that I feel like even if you're not interested in the premise,
I wonder where I've heard that before.
On paper, you should check it out. So at least, try an episode and you may binge it like I did, and I just can't get enough of them.
Okay.
Cool. Let's tag team this one because you've talked about it recently.
Tag team back again.
I think you checked out The Boys, which is now on
Dude, I saw a fucking screener episode of Alamo Drafthouse, and I binged that bitch when it came out. Then I think I went back and watched that season one more time. So yes.
You are driving the bandwagon of The Boys, which is an Amazon Prime series, which is another
right over everyone else
comic book adaptation. This is about a group of vigilantes that set out to take down corrupt superheroes who abuse their superpowers. And very much like it's the opinion of these vigilantes, and the show argues that there is a lot of good to go with the bad, or a lot of bad to go with the good that is superheroes. So this takes place in it seems like maybe in the near future. It again feels like it's close
in a world where corporate America has intertanglings with the military. Kind of.
Yes.
Did you ever see War Inc?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of that kind of work.
Yes, it covers the business and the media side of killing bad guys. Like it's really like a good.
You're gonna call not the Ghostbusters. You're gonna call these motherfuckers the Seven.
Yeah, I feel like this show operates on a couple levels. It's very entertaining action, like tough guy. It's fucking brutally violent and sexually disturbing in many ways. But it also is a very good commentary on policing and the military in the United States. I think it's brilliant metaphor for that. And Carl Urban is the main character in this. He plays Billy Butcher. Yes. I think we've talked about this before on the podcast. Carl Urban's just one of those guys that you think, what could have been? This guy could have been a great action star because
he still can be.
Yeah, he still can be. He's there's Liam Neeson, there's Jerry Butler, and then Carl Urban is Carl Urban's right below those guys. He's he's 75% of those guys. Something's just missing.
You're 100% to me, Carl Urban.
Yeah, but this is his playground, man. He gets to really flaunt his abilities as an action star. He's charming, charismatic. He's fucking nails his line. He chews up scenery.
He's the unlikable, likable guy.
Yes, he's a great anti-hero. And then I'm not going to go through the whole cast, but I also like Jack Quaid, which I believe is a son of your boy, Dennis Quaid. Am I wrong?
The Dennis Quaid and the Meg Ryan.
Yes, he plays a
It came out of Meg Ryan's vagina.
Yes, it did. He did. And he's kind of the stereotypical, kick-ass character, or Peter Parker, the nerdy guy who gets pushed around and gets forced into realizing that he has hero abilities. But I think he adds a lot of levels to it and makes this kind of generic character four-dimensional. And
Dude,
very
can I let you know something?
What?
So this actual comic book was modeled after the character Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, Simon Pegg. Yeah, right?
Yeah, exactly. And apparently they wanted him initially, but because of the age thing, and this thing goes on allegedly for 10 years or whatever, he was already too old. So that's why he ended up playing his father.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, all the performances are great in this. It's just a very unique...
I'm going to wash over my story.
Sorry. It's good trivia. No, for sure. And Simon Pegg he doesn't play a huge role, but it is nice to see him. And it makes me feel, not many things make me feel old, but now Simon Pegg playing dads makes me feel a little old.
Yeah, but he's been when you see him not playing dads, he's still a young dude. He just when you see him as Scotty and shit.
Yeah, because he seemed like a peer to me in age. When he played Shaun in Shaun of the Dead, he was about my age, maybe a little bit older. So it's weird to see him playing middle-aged guys now.
Dude, you were a dad at that time anyways.
True. But a very, like...
I didn't have distinguished gray hairs and glasses, no.
Exactly. I didn't wear sweaters, which he does wear now. He can rock some sweaters. And I also really liked Elizabeth Shue in this. She plays Madeline Stillwell. She's the head of, like, the CEO of the superhero corporation, the Seven. So there are superheroes in this. I'll explain a little bit of the show and the world building. But they have the Seven, which are the corporate-sponsored superheroes, and people apply and audition and work.
Did you see Baltimore was trying to get themselves a superhero?
Yes, I thought that was great.
I was like, oh, he ain't going to save shit. He's going to get stabbed in the first 2 days.
She's a great villain, and I love the gray areas within all the characters. The heroes, the vigilantes, and the superheroes. There's good and bad to all the characters, and there's depth to all of them. And I really liked all the relationships between the characters, and I thought
they were fun and quirky. There was a lot of different elements. You almost have like this raggedy Three Musketeers for the main ensemble of superhero hunters, and then just the different relationships within the Seven that are on so many different levels. You would think they just, hey, we're a team. No, everybody fits a different portion, and some people that. The main, what was it?
Homelander.
Homelander.
Yeah.
Where some people he finds them as peers, other people he's looking at them under his shoe.
Yeah, I love all the character relationships. I think this show of all the shows I've seen in the past couple of years is one of the best at creating like real drama between characters, real like strife and just pitting them against each other, and also the relationships. They just felt natural, and the way everything came together made a lot of sense. So I can't wait for season 2. This is a 8-episode season 1 so far, and let's see, they're about 45 minutes to an hour a piece. Very bingeable. I watched this with my girlfriend, and she could give a fuck less about comic book stuff. She doesn't watch any Marvel movies. She loves this show, and we watched like 6 episodes in one sitting. So again, like the Watchmen, something you don't necessarily need to be a huge comic book fan to enjoy, because it has a lot to say about the real world.
And just good performances by everybody. Some really visual shit. If you like shit blowing up and people blowing up, who knows, man?
Yeah, double seal of approval on that one. We both loved it.
It's signed, sealed, delivered. Again, Frank, we're signed, sealed, and delivering everything.
Yeah, a lot of drama, a lot of genre stuff, but you watched The Last OG on Netflix.
I did. I watched it.
Is this your Tracy Morgan? Dear God.
Tracy Morgan.
Dear God. There's 3 seasons. 2 seasons in the bag, and then season 3 is coming out this year. It's a 30-minute comedy series where there's 10 episodes about in each season. Real quick, it's about an ex-con. He's shocked to see how much the world has changed when he's released from prison for good behavior after a 15-year stint, and he returns to his newly gentrified Brooklyn neighborhood. And I think that's the source of a lot of the comedy, is him like just dealing with the new world and all the changes in the past 15 years, right?
I thought that was the main bag, and I would say not as much. I think that's kind of the start, and realizing that he is not as compatible. But honestly, you could have taken that element out and just said, this is Tracy Morgan trying to adapt to real life.
So it's very much Tracy Morgan unfiltered, just playing himself.
Somewhat. I mean, there is a storyline, there is a plot, he has direction, and surprisingly emotional depth in certain areas that felt, were emotionally touching. So Tiffany Haddish plays his girlfriend at the time when he went to prison, gets out of prison. She's obviously married to a white, boring guy named Josh. Sup, Tiffany?
Great. Hey, everyone needs a boring white Josh in their life. You should try it out.
Everybody needs one.
Don't knock it
out
until you try it.
Got the same shitty, stupid facial hair.
I love Tiffany Haddish. Do you have a crush on her?
I mean, I'm telling you, she can get in this, man. She can get all up in this ass.
Okay, let's stop. Continue talking about the show, please. It's getting weird.
To be fair, she says that specific line. I'm going to get up in that ass, Josh. I'm like,
is that your ringtone? That should be your ringtone.
That would be. That'd be hilarious. So he realizes that he has 2 kids that he never knew about. She never came to visit him, all that kind of stuff. It's light and funny and heartfelt, and it takes a couple different directions, and there's some other good complementary characters that show up, and this little weird journey where he's trying to, make something of himself. He makes some really ridiculous decisions. At one point, just to go for that, he decides he's going to be the Robin Hood of crack.
Please explain. And
he's just gonna sell all this crack, and then donate the money to church, to like homeless shelters and shit.
So this is like a sitcom show on TBS that is on Netflix now.
He talks a lot about dealing crack.
So it's a very like R-rated kind of. It's not censored.
Super R-rated. I mean, I don't know if crack is R-rated. I don't know where the censoring goes on like. Yeah,
I guess my concern when I first heard this show, because I love Tracy Morgan, I think he's one of the funniest people alive, and I think he's just never been fully used to his talents. 30 Rock is the best example, but even that, he was playing like a caricature of himself, and I like that you say like he does some dramatic stuff in this. So I was hoping it wasn't a watered down version of Tracy Morgan. I guess that's my question. Like,
I would say he still flourishes well, and they do allow him to do his own thing for a good portion of the show, I would think. I mean, this was also, I think, written or created by Jordan Peele. So there is some elements of comedic genius that we're already familiar with. So I think he would understand, if anyone, hey man, let him do his thing. Yeah, there's a storyline, there's a plot, there's a script, but in certain parts, just let him go do what he wants, because you're going to get a better product, something more enjoyable. But I will say, so I was just finishing season 2, and there was one last scene that like he had me emotionally all tripping, man. I was like, oh shit, like just I could feel. It made me sad, dude. Made me sad. Tracy Morgan made me sad.
That sounds like I
never thought that was possible.
It sounds like a big recommendation from you.
I mean, it's a good show. It's if you are a Tracy Morgan fan, I think you'll definitely enjoy the show. If you're a Tiffany Haddish fan, I think you would as well. It's fun. It's light. It's right in that. It's quality content over a lot of the garbage that's put out. I would say something that took me a while to go around and see, and just like a light, fun watch, and a decent story. Method Man shows up in season 2. That's always fun.
Of course he does. He's in everything. Method Man loves cash and checks. He will show up if you pay him.
Yeah, Cedric the Entertainer's like the main housing board guy, like the guy that hosts, owns the halfway house that they live in when he gets out of jail.
Cool. I mean, that sounds exciting, and I might check that out. That sounds like an easy watch. I know you said there's some emotional storylines, but
they're in there. But it helps change up the flow sometimes and take you on a couple different directions. But I don't think at any point this isn't not something that isn't an easy watch.
For sure, I desperately need like a show I can kind of turn my brain off and just enjoy, because I watch a lot of heady stuff like Mr. Robot.
Mr. Robot.
I finished up, and I'm not going to go through this one in detail, but I will say Mr. Robot is season 4. The final season is on USA Network now. The first 3 seasons are available to stream and binge on Amazon Prime. It's about a character named Elliot, who's a brilliant but highly unstable young cybersecurity engineer and a vigilante hacker. He becomes a key figure in a complex game of global dominance when he and his shadowy allies try to take down the corrupt corporation he works for. So this stars Rami Malek as Elliot, the main character, and Christian Slater as Mr. Robot, who is the title character. This is like the spiritual successor to Fight Club, Project Mayhem, and stuff like that. It's very much in that vein where it just talks about the idea of breaking down society and getting on the offensive and attacking the banking system and
the system
and the greedy corporations. Yeah, and it's like it
kind of revolution.
It's very much based in reality, but Elliot is very much like a superhero type character where his hacking ability is his superpower. Where this one guy can take down these huge, establishments just with his hacking ability. And there's
he still can't get a date on his Tinder profile.
Jesus Christ. I don't know what that means, but
I don't know either.
That's funny. But yeah, dude, it's a great show. It's catnip for me. Like, I love stuff that examines our political system or, how greedy corporations are, and to have like this character that fights against it and brings it up. It's a very stylized show. It's created by Sam Esmail. that we both enjoyed Homecoming a couple years ago when that was out. He is one of the best showrunners in TV. He's a master at
run that show, boy.
Creating dramatic TV and the cliffhangers and all the Easter eggs. There's so many episodes that fucking flip the script on you, and just they do things in this show that I've never seen in TV before, and it's highly recommended. That's what I'll say about that.
I was just thinking about you playing with catnip.
I love catnip, dude. Before I could get a hold of
it, you're like, your eyes get all big.
Who didn't get sold, a bag of catnip when they were younger?
I don't know. Smart people?
Yeah, you're right. Good answer. I'm curious that you've checked out this show, on Netflix. It was like,
I know.
This is like a failed. What was it on originally? Like Lifetime or something.
Lifetime.
And women are obsessed with this fucking guy who's like a sociopath. You is on Netflix. Season 2 just dropped. So there's 2 seasons, 20 episodes, 45 minutes apiece. It's about this dangerously charming, intensely obsessive young man that goes to extreme measures to insert himself in the lives of those he's transfixed by. So from what I've read and seen about this, it seems like a bunch of people are thirsting for a guy who's a fucking stalker. And tell me if there's more to the show than this. And tell me why you're fucking watching this.
Why am I watching this? Okay. So I watched this with my previous lady.
Okay.
The first season, a few episodes.
So you're blaming someone. Go ahead.
I am blaming someone. And then I was like, all right, I guess I can watch this. So this is something I can watch. And then I was like, oh, that's the second season. All right, what? And they left on this really weird cliffhanger that I was like, man, that doesn't seem right at all. I'd like to know what happened. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll figure out what I'll watch.
So you're admitting this is trash that you got, because I'm not. We've all gotten talking into watching trash.
There's also another issue here. Look, the guy is a white dude with dark hair, has a Jewish name, and his first name starts with a J and is a single syllable. I don't like the fact that this show has a character that resembles some of my life.
Okay, so is this disturbing you? Do you need therapy that you can relate to this guy?
It's fucking a little concerning.
This is not good. You're like, this guy's an awful person, and I relate to him on a deep level.
I'm like, this is not good. So I think I need to know where the story goes so I know what pitfalls to avoid.
If you need to know what kind of help you need to seek,
don't
professionally.
Build a giant fucking plastic room in a storage unit and then seal the guy that plays Penguin in Gotham in there.
Oh my God.
Don't do that.
I mean, I definitely am for the activity of watching trash with a friend or a loved one. It can be fun to watch awful things.
I just the mindset and the narration. So it's most of the show is narrated by the mental element of the main character, and I just seeing what they decide to do. Like I see the trope and I see the repeat offending, and they try and allege this moral struggle with the character, and you just realize that's not ever going to change, and man, you've really built this up in a really fucked up way to create this situation for yourself. Maybe if you did not make all of these ridiculous fucking crazy decisions, you would not have ended up in this very crazy situation. Maybe that's just something to think about. Maybe if the 19 really fucked up things, you were like, this seems logical. I mean, the dude obviously has problems. He's way too fantasizes, like, and falls in and out of the real in some sense. And initially in the first season, they seemed clever and and very strategic, and then would make completely oblivious, stupid, emotional decisions that were like, wow, that is just dumb, man. Just when you think this guy is like somewhat smart, and then I think the first season they more try and side you with one or the other because both characters are almost like unlikable in a sense of like, wow, what the fuck? How can I even? This is very similar to the Clinton-Trump, presidency. Like, I'm going to vote for this piece of shit or this piece of shit.
So
it fucking sucks.
Your choice is between the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, pretty much. But the second season, he's trying to get away from a circumstance that he created for himself and being pursued by a person and this and that. the dude puts himself in these situations and really fucks us up. You can see some of the good and the attempts at good, but dude,
what do you get out of the show? Let's cut to the chase.
Hands are black and everything you touch turns to shit. Just cut your fucking hands off and go away. Don't involve yourself in anything that doesn't actually directly involve you.
Wow.
That's what I take away from. However,
is it anything more than fun trash? Answer me this, because we can't talk 10 minutes on every show.
I'm not
5-hour podcast.
Shut up. Shut up. Now I'm bringing that name. Shut up.
Is it anything more than just fun trash?
That's about the ride you're going to get out of it. Some just weird stuff, man. Some weird stuff.
Thank you. Sounds like Josh has some things to work out after watching that show. So tread carefully if you watch this show. Maybe you relate to the weirdo.
Look, I'm not saying relate. I'm just saying he has a lot. They've given him a lot of my shit, and I'm like, that's
moving on.
Cool.
I'm gonna let Josh breathe through a paper bag as I describe the Mandalorian.
Don't make me murder you.
I did the Disney Plus trial. So this is a review of the Mandalorian, also the Disney Plus streaming service, because I don't think we've talked about this yet. Very popular new streaming service. If you're a parent, you probably fucking have it. But The Mandalorian is an original Star Wars TV show. It's 9 episodes. They're around 30 minutes apiece. It's about the travels of a lone bounty hunter named the Mandalorian in the outer reaches of the galaxy, far from the authority of the New Republic. So this one takes place, I believe, in between the original trilogy 4, 5, 6 and 1, 2, 3. I don't fucking know. I like Star Wars, but
no one knows.
This is created by Jon Favreau, who I think more than definitely J.J. Abrams understands what Star Wars is about. The Mandalorian character is played by Pedro Pascal, who was the Viper in Game of Thrones, if you remember that. Mm-hmm. And then you also have Werner Herzog. Fantastic. Nick Nolte voices a character, as does Taika Waititi.
Does he bring really desperate emotion to it?
Does who? Werner Herzog? He's a great voice. I fucking love. Oh, Nick Nolte. No, I love his character though. He plays. I thought it was Tom Waits. He plays like this alien character.
I don't know the name of the gun. I only know the sound it makes.
He actually plays a very optimistic character and a very spiritual character. It's cool.
Okay. He's wise Nolte.
Exactly. I like the show a lot. I like Star Wars stuff. I don't drink the Kool-Aid. I think I'm pretty fair on Star Wars related things, and I really dug this. It reminded me of like early to mid 90s TV show. Like it just had the feel of like a Xena warrior princess or something like that.
Ooh, like Hercules.
Yeah, like Hercules. Sorbo? Exactly. It had the pacing and the feel of that.
Yeah, I love Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah. So it's an action adventure TV series, which I think is like sadly become a rare thing to find. And
like everything with Tom Selleck.
Yeah, but this is good. And also another thing.
Oh, burn!
Sorry, Blue Blood.
Selleck
Fuck
burn.
off, Selleck. Anyways, also an underrated part of TV shows. I really love the theme. So the beginning of each episode gets me pumped. It's a lot of drum beats, and then at the end they have like drawings of like this like real high quality drawings and paintings of situations in the show played to like this cool drum beat, which like got me really pumped for the next episode. So yeah, Mandalorian. I wasn't like predetermined to enjoy this, but it's a really good series, and it's definitely worth your time. And do that 7-day trial of Disney Plus and see if you dig it. I think this one's one of the better shows of the year. I've been watching some good stuff lately. So that wraps up TV time. We're going to start up flicks we pick next, but before that, I think we have one more sponsor.
Oh, we do, Frank. This segment, the Flicks We Picked, is brought to you by Bill Cosby's Potato Chips. The chips so good, you'll forget you ever ate them.
Yikes, okay. We have to vet some of these sponsors, but it's definitely my third favorite.
Look, I'd take anyone's money. Look, I didn't know when it said BC on it. I thought it was before Christ.
Oh, man, dark humor. Leading into flicks we picked. We'll speed round some of these.
Some of that Cosby money, son.
Yeah, this is going to be a long episode. So maybe if you're listening, pause and then listen to this part the next day. It's going to be almost 2 hours.
Don't suggest people how to listen to shit.
Listen to it twice. Share it with a friend. Live your life. Download it.
Be free, my little butterflies.
Didn't watch a lot of anime this year, but on Netflix there's this film. It's a French film called I Lost My Body. It's a
I lost my
2000.
Sounds like a fuck up song.
Yeah, it's a very interesting story of this character, Nefel, a young man who's in love with Gabrielle, a girl he meets in a chance encounter. Gabrielle, I guess. Gabriella, maybe. Okay. He's a pizza delivery guy and like a classic like romantic character where he's just like unfilled potential, like he's shitty at his job, he hasn't found his way. And he has this conversation through a speaker box with this girl, Gabriella, and he really connects with her. Gerbils. And he tries to find out who she is. Like he kind of stalks, like in You a little bit.
Well, she does the U.
Yeah, he does a U type move, but instead of directly
U-turn
meeting her, he gets a job with her uncle and befriends her uncle and just becomes a part of her life and kind of tries to foment like a natural a bond with her, like a natural friendship.
Yeah, why are we watching all this creeper shit?
Yeah, while that goes on, there's also a severed hand that escapes from a dissection lab.
What?
It's a severed hand that escapes. It's like an embodied hand that's like has like
it's like Thing from the Addams Family.
Yeah, it's like a living hand, and
like
it escapes from this lab, and it's determined to find its body again. And these things connect eventually in the end, and it's really interesting to see this hand like navigate through this world and fight pigeons and rats and just try to find its body.
I just think that when he finally gets back to his body, he just like jerks that dude off. He's just like,
I'm not gonna say if that's what happens, but no, it's more of a serious movie. Actually, it's dark, especially the hand stuff, but it's got a really good romance and just is very in tune with like human emotion and just like a realistic story of these two people and the struggle of this guy that's trying to connect with this woman. And, when he struggles in connecting with anyone, he's trying to like fall in love and have this relationship. So I thought it was really cool. Highly recommended. It's actually probably my top 10 films of the year. It's just so original and just captivating from the jump. I just really, really dug it. And
do you think this hand had like a similar adventure to like Pickle Rick?
No, I didn't. But I assume Six Underground is probably more of the dumb humor that you want from I Lost My Body.
Well, the first word you said was right.
What, Six Underground?
No, dumb.
Dumb. Okay, yeah. This is a 2-hour plus Michael Bay film on Netflix.
It should have said in really big, bold words as the movie comes up. Michael Bay. Skip.
Dude, the poster looks like an action movie that's like a fake action movie inside of another movie that's making fun of dumb action movies.
I don't think that Michael Bay has the capacity of what fun is.
Yeah, I like dumb shit, but this just didn't even look good to me. This is a Ryan Reynolds starring movie about a new kind of action hero.
Meet a new kind of action hero.
They're untraceable agents.
Untraceable agents.
Just tell me, is this shit? Can we just be quick on this one? Like, is this worth watching?
I need to talk about it. I need to unpack some shit. Okay.
All right. I'll give you some time. Is this good? Is this bad?
Let me undo my suitcases. Let me put my legs up. Let me have a coffee. All right. So, what the fuck? Dude, the amount of children they could have fed for the money that was wasted on this pile of shit. Ryan Reynolds.
Go off, King. Go off.
Dude, you've made enough money from Deadpool and other amazing things and your fucking tequila company or whatever it is. Look, I'm just saying, you're doing fucking well for yourself. You don't need to support this shit. I get it, man. Money is money, and this is a very easy role and pretty much playing, a generic Ryan Reynolds just there. He's showing up, making some quips, saying some dumb shit, pretending to have no emotion. I don't know. This is rough, man. This is very close to reaching Nicolas Cage levels. Don't do that.
Really? Like Ryan Reynolds' performance was that bad, or just the movie was that bad?
You're taking checks for garbage like this, and the performances from everyone. It's just an unnecessary pile of trash that exists. Why? Okay, another thing. I feel like all of the soundtrack was two fucking bands. It was like Muse and like one other fucking band.
God, this sounds awful.
Fuck you. I do love Muse, but not in these content. You can't just use Muse.
This sounds like the most bro movie of the year.
It is, dude. It's so. Oh my god.
How many?
Fuck.
From 1 to 6 Mountain Dews, how would you rate this movie on a scale of 1 to 6?
Man, Baja Blast or something. I don't know. This is fucking Why? Why? And, okay, yeah, and just a little thing that pisses me off, just because I'm a nitpick for things, but the title is Six Underground, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're familiar with the song Six Underground, right?
No, I'm not. Please explain.
No, you've heard the song, Take Me Down, Six Underground. It's from
you have a great voice, but yeah, I vaguely. I didn't know it has a story to it.
I'm super well. They used the title. I don't know. Maybe he thought that six people and they were underground, so he said Six Underground.
So clever.
I took it as I thought they were going to use that track as like some type of title track somewhere along the way, not used one fucking time. Like, dude, there's literally a song named your fucking title, and it could fit anywhere in your stupid ass fucking movie.
Yeah, get the Muse to cover it or something. At least do that.
That lady could, I'm sure, use a check. It's been a few years. What the fuck, dude? So, by the way, Ryan Reynolds, all the people, they don't say their names until like most of the way through the movie when they're like, no, we need to know each other. Here's my, I'm not two. Anyways, Ryan Reynolds is one. That's his name. His name is one. Then they can just character 2 and 3.
God, it sounds like a fucking
7 on your fucking hand. You can know how many people are in this fucking cast. What the fuck, dude? Just if you love Doritos and Budweiser and fucking white beaters and just
what it sounds like? The meme where it's like I fed
America.
I fed a bot 7 Michael Bay scripts and it spit out a Michael Bay script. That's what this sounds like.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like ad lib. Someone gave him an ad lib and he was like, 1 through 6. Like he barely tried.
When I hear millions of dollars and I see this movie, all I think is that is a waste of money.
So it sounds like a big, big pass. And it's adorable how much how precious Ryan Reynolds' career is. And you're like so upset that he could be ruining it.
I mean, look, the guy, I've seen him put on great performances. I know he's a big star and Deadpool and all this stuff. Don't put out garbage to put under your fucking credit list.
Fair. Total 360 or 180 in type of movie.
Sorry.
Josh is upset. Don't ruin it, Ryan Reynolds. You finally have a good career and people like you. You're in the plus.
Look, you came back from Green Lantern. Not a lot of people could do that.
Yeah. Anyways, Josh.
Look at Tobey Maguire.
I wish I could hug you.
Where is he now?
I watched The Last Black Man in San Francisco. This is on Amazon Prime. This is a drama about a young man who searches for a home in the changing city that seems to have left him behind. It's written and directed by Joe Talbot, who's like a either first or second time feature filmmaker. It stars Jimmy Falls, who actually plays like the character, the same Jimmy Falls, the same character. It's very interesting. It deals with cities being taken over, like cities losing their personality and gentrification of San Francisco, which I know from a distance is just like one of the most expensive places to live, but there is a heart and soul to the city that
I know they have hills there.
Yeah, it's shot in San Francisco, obviously, so it looks very familiar from like Full House and all this other bullshit you've seen that takes place.
Did a Full House opening.
Yeah, like in San Francisco. But I think it's a really cool story. It definitely comes from a personal place, and there's a style to this that just, it's a drama, and you know exactly what it's about. It's about this guy who his grandfather's house became too expensive and his family lost it, and there's just rich white people living in it, and
gentrification, all that stuff.
Yeah, he loves it so much. It's a very interesting character. He goes and he keeps, like, he breaks into the house to fix it. Like, these fucking people won't upkeep this house. Like, it's not his house anymore, but to him, in his heart, in his mind, it is his house, and he doesn't want to see it fall apart. And
seems very artistic.
Yeah, and the way it's shot and the different montages used, it is very artistic and has a unique style to it, and it allows the movie to flow in a way that most dramas don't. Like, I held off on watching this just because I was like, I'm interested in the subject, but it's a 2-hour drama, and am I also going to
find the void and the right initiative?
Yeah, am I going to be entertained? But this movie is highly entertaining.
Are you not entertained?
Full of this like great dramatic performances, just like from a passionate place, and the film comes from like a honest place, and from I could only imagine like people directly affected by a situation like this. So I think it's really cool. One of my favorite movies of the year. And if you're looking for like just a good drama about something that happens in the real world, I would highly recommend this.
Yeah, I remember seeing the trailer. It seemed very stylized and kind of like where movies are more art pieces and telling a fluid painting-like story.
Yeah, it works though, man. It's such an easy watch. It's very entertaining, and it will pull at your heartstrings and make you think about a situation that maybe you ignore and put yourself in the shoes of someone that you wouldn't really relate to or maybe meet. But that's a cool thing about movies like this.
Okay.
You finally saw Ad Astra, which I really liked, and I think I did a brief review a month or so ago. This is the Brad Pitt movie where he plays an astronaut for Roy McBride, and he's under a mission across an unforgiving solar system to uncover truth about his missing father, played by Tommy Lee Jones, and his doomed expedition that now 30 years later threatens the fate of the entire universe.
So this was more of like a serious version of Nightflyers.
For sure, yeah. There's a lot of this is like the lonely astronaut movie trying to save the world. There's been many of these recently.
It is, but it also has, it takes place in a time in the future where, there's already a base on the moon, there's retail shops.
I love that commentary. I love the Americanization of how we turn the moon into a shitty fucking mall.
Yeah, we're just like, hey, man, come check out the moon where you can get a moon cut. And you can get a moon pie. And you can also get mooned by the homeless guy.
Yeah.
On the moon. There's fucking moon pirates, dude. There's fucking
That was dope. I don't know how you felt about that. I liked that the movie had such a pace. And the movie was so focused on Brad Pitt's character and like his dealing with his emotions of his father, and like so he played
keep himself in fucking check
like everything's so far in the background. You have to really, if you blink, you'll miss all these cool details like the moon pirates or that like he was married, because it's very much about Brad Pitt's relationship with his father and like who he is as a man, and his character like is like a beloved astronaut and almost like a living legend because his blood pressure never changes. Like the scene in the beginning of the movie where a fucking space station blows up and his like heart rate doesn't change at all as he's like trying to repair this space station and flying off of it.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Just the ability to just focus on the task at hand and nothing but the task, regardless of the circumstance and situation. I think throughout the movie that is a very solid underlying point, and I think it is very well done. It's a believable time frame. I think I was wondering how the future guns and some of these situations were going to pan out. I think Tommy Lee Jones did a pretty amazing job, but you kind of knew where he would be in his mindset this far down the road. 30 years later,
Yeah, I thought his performance was pretty cool. Tommy Lee is really good at he was just like an emotionally distraught guy. He could sell anything.
They could sit there and reveal, all right, Tommy, you are a chicken farmer and all of your chickens were just set on fire. Go.
Yeah, like he played like a delusional guy so well. It was dark, but it wasn't like I feel like a lot of actors would take it too far and be over the top.
You could be like Nick Nolte in Olympus Has Fallen, where he's completely off the grid. Yeah, that was over the top.
Exactly, but I dug it, man. I thought it was. I loved Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and that performance, but Ad Astra, I think his performance in this is just as good, if not better. And I really dug it. I know it's like a polarizing movie. When I saw it in theaters, at the end, there's this family that were fucking like talking through the whole movie. I think they were expecting an action movie, and they're like, "Oh, never pick a movie again." Like it was like the shitty dad.
Space. I thought it was going to be Armageddon 2. You fucking asshole.
He's like, Jimmy, you never get to pick a movie. Yeah, this guy like was so offended by this movie. So it is kind of heady, and it is like not an easy watch because the character goes through a lot of shit. But I dug it a lot, dude. Like, what did you think overall of this?
Overall, I think it was visually stunning and had some points of drop, but it picks up very well. All in all, an interesting piece from Brad Pitt that I think is it's a good story. It's an interesting story, and I think the development throughout. And if you are a fan of space, always watch this shit. Doesn't mean everything from space is good, There's a lot of good space shit, man.
Yeah, it's a shame. I know you watched this. It's now a digital rental. This was a one that would be cool to catch in a theater. So if it's somehow still in like a second run theater, I would recommend
get
it.
Their own projectors, Frank.
True, yeah. Like turn the speakers up though. Like this movie just is
turn that shit up to 11.
They definitely spent some money wisely. It's very cool effects, and I thought it looked really cool, as well as being like a really nice drama
and believable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very cool. But space pirates, bro.
We're the only podcast that would put Star Wars, the new Star Wars movie, just like throw it in the middle of the podcast. We treat it like every other movie. Like there's no like.
Give a fuck. I do what I want.
Yeah, we're not obsessed with any series.
Fucking do what we want.
Yeah, but we will talk even more about like.
We make you listen to other shit before you get to the Star Wars.
We'll talk just as passionately about like a shitty Ryan Reynolds movie as we will Star Wars. And that's cool. I think that's what separates us from other movie podcasts. Anyways, just to give you a little background, you didn't watch this one yet, right, Josh?
I haven't, and I've heard a lot of mixed things, but I think it's something where you just kind of settle. If you are a Star Wars fan, you go and see this in theater, and you just be happy that you saw Star Wars in theater, and then you shut the fuck up and keep your opinion to yourself. Okay,
stepdad I never had or wanted. But here's my opinion on this. I was very much a Last Jedi fan. I love Last Jedi. I am one of those people where Last Jedi is either my favorite or second favorite Star Wars movie of them all. I like that it took all these things like the nostalgia and the sameness of the Star Wars movies and fucked with it and argued that that's bad, and that for this series to continue, like it has to do different things. It has to challenge and break the mold of these Star Wars movies. There's been 9 of them now, and there are a lot of very similar things, and I personally like when things change. I don't want the same fucking movie replicated 9 times, but a lot of people want that, and I understand a lot of people rejected Last Jedi for those reasons. This movie acts, I don't know if it was done deliberately, but it's like an apology for those people that didn't like Last Jedi.
Really?
Yeah. It is just nostalgia fucking crammed up your ass, and it is nothing but fan service for 2 hours and 22 minutes. I mean, spoiler, it's in the preview, but they bring back Palpatine, which seems unnecessary. And I do understand, like, so this film did have a lot of production issues because of the loss of Carrie Fisher, and it did feel like she was supposed to be a big part of this trilogy, and especially the conclusion of it in this movie. But they mismanaged a lot. There's a lot of weird...
How hard is it to rewrite a story where you have so many fantasy characters and possible avenues for arc and growth?
For sure. And I think, well, you know, there was
Carrie Fisher, we lost her. We're fucked. There's no leg.
Yeah.
Not to say it's not an amazing part and crucial part of this story, but you have so many fucking characters.
I agree. It was also originally Colin Trevorrow was attached to this film. He wrote like Jurassic World and the Jurassic World sequel.
No, thank you.
Yeah, he got like kicked off the job halfway through production, I believe, and then they gave it back to J.J. Abrams, who...
They tried to bring Vin Diesel in a Honda Civic, and they were like, nah.
Yeah, J.J. Abrams, who's like very much like Stephen King, like prolific and puts a lot of work out there, but is awful at ending things, and I think was not the right guy. I don't hate J.J. Abrams. I liked his first one of this series. I thought he was really good to start this trilogy because he's really good at taking things that we're familiar with, and like you can tell he loves
pushing
Star Wars.
them into the new.
Yeah, he basically polished up Star Wars, and Force Awakens was very much like A New Hope, just an updated version of that. It was familiar, but he updated it. This is a fucking mess, dude. I was entertained by this movie, but
making me sad.
It's sloppy as fuck. There's a lot of stuff just shoehorned in there for no reason, and the biggest crime of it for me is that the movie has no courage. Like, it will do these things and it'll throw you off for a second and create some drama or some, but
nothing ever fully, shoots the load.
Like, literally they do this fake out where you think something groundbreaking happens.
It's like the Walking Dead fake out.
Yeah, like you think, I don't want to spoil it, but there's a moment where you're like, holy shit, I can't believe they went there. And not even like 2 minutes later in the movie, they're like, oh, no, it's not what you think. That horrible thing didn't happen. Yeah. It's like, let us at least hang on to that for a little bit and find out later that it didn't happen.
I think this is the biggest problem with Disney owning the Star Wars rights. I mean, look, it's great that they're willing to throw all this money in there, but they're looking to build merchandising, kid heroes, action figures, all this stuff. They can't develop these storylines for the adults that they once were developed for. Now, honestly, Star Wars, they're like, now it's a family thing because the adults saw the initial ones, and the kids are seeing the new situation, and they're just building fucking a money machine instead of giving us an actual creative piece of the storyline from the initial, set.
Definitely, man. It gets chopped up too much. There's too many cooks in the kitchen is the feeling.
Random fucking lightsabers and shit.
Yeah, there's too many cooks in the kitchen in this movie. It feels like much like Dark Knight Returns or the third X-Men movie of the original trilogy, or where they're just throwing every remaining idea in this movie. It's just too much. I think in entertainment value, people might enjoy it because it is fastly paced and there's so much stuff happening, kind of like Dark Knight or like Spider-Man 3 too, where they throw all these characters and all these villains in there, and it's just like layers of plot over plot, and it's unnecessary. Like, I love the simplicity of Last Jedi. It doesn't have to be these things. All these movies are going to make a shitload of money, and people are going to buy the toys and the shirts regardless. Like, they're so scared to make like an actual film and take chances that they put out this like thrill ride of a fucking movie that's soulless. And it's a fucking shame because I really liked the last one, and I think it really botches this trilogy. I won't probably watch this movie again. I will watch Last Jedi, I'll watch The Force Awakens, but I kind of just want to watch 2 of the 3 and just not treat it as a trilogy.
That's fair. I mean, it's just it's tough. I mean, there's so many corporate board members that are making decisions on how this is going to go, and the amount of approval and people that this has to make its way through. I mean, it's never going to be possible to get that,
it's hard. It's not
projected, thick plot, juicy drama and science fiction that we once, thought we could have.
It's not impossible.
It's a family adventure, dude.
Yeah, it's hard under the Disney umbrella, but I know what you're saying. Like, we've talked about this before. It's the pull and push of like, how much is this going to be a piece of art and how much is this going to be a product to sell things and just to make money. And this one got pulled, in my opinion, way far to the other direction of just being a way to sell toys and bullshit and just like a product. And it's a shame. So I would still check it out in theaters because it's, a big, explosive action movie. And J.J. Abrams is...
And the pew, 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 and the...
As much as the movie makes no goddamn sense, and there's so much... It's like a fucking... Like, one of those video games where you have to, like, go find this thing. Like, they literally...
calm yourself. I don't need more metaphors.
Sorry. But, dude, they spent half the movie looking for space GPSs. It's so silly. The action pieces...
Tell them next time Google Maps, motherfucker.
The action pieces are big and fun. So go see it in the theaters and then let me know what you think.
Okay, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm so torn. I'm Natalie Imbruglia right now. I'm Natalie Imbruglia.
On to, which I think is the highlight of this podcast, the film I want to talk about the most, and I'm most excited to discuss because we both saw it for once in the same
Josh saw it first
time. Yeah, but
Josh is going to talk first.
Josh is going to talk first. Uncut Gems. This is in theaters now. Briefly, I'll do the description and you can lead things off as far as the review.
Okay, shut up.
It's about a charismatic New York City jeweler played by Adam Sandler. Always on the lookout for the next big score, he makes a series of high-stake bets that could lead to a windfall of a lifetime. Howard must perform a precarious high-wire act balancing business, family, encroaching adversaries on all sides in his relentless pursuit of the ultimate win. This is directed by the Safdie brothers, who did Good Times, which I loved. Go ahead, Josh, take it away. Tell me what you thought about Uncut Gems.
Well, going into it, didn't know it was an A24 production, which we've seen a lot of artistic and interesting pieces come out of. So you kind of already are thinking this is a different line than your normal Adam Sandler movie, which if you go into this with any presumption of this is up the line of stuff that he puts out through the Happy Gilmore production group. This is not that. This is a piece that apparently I learned that was written for him like 10 years ago, and these guys have been going after him for 10 years trying to get this movie made. I think it's really interesting that it came up at this point in his life. However, you and I have both seen additional Adam Sandler movies like Punch Drunk Love and Reign Over Me, and things where he has the depth and emotional drama to make these really powerful performances, and he nails this one. This is just so well done by Adam Sandler, and a guy that we've looked up to for most of our life. It's almost kind of like you did it, man, you did it, and you like see him like with a fucking backpack over his shoulder, and he walks off into the sunlight and shit. Yes. It's fantastic, and absolutely, if I'm not one to ever discuss like awards and Oscars and things, but absolutely, very well deserved. This guy puts in his heart and his work and his effort here, and it's a complimented performance with Lakeith Stanfield, who we both love in a lot of things that we've seen him in lately, Knives Out, etc. Very, very well done. The drama, the action, the level and layers of deceit, and this guy who's trying to be the master puppeteer and yet holds no strings, and pretty much just every decision he makes compiles a domino effect of 17 more issues. And to think that he always has the one out, and he's always got it, and he's got that shining, thing in his pocket that's going to make the situation better. And I just love the timeline and where it came into play, and with the Kevin Garnett situation and all that stuff. It just it worked on so many levels for me, and it felt super well told, powerful, fantastic, and just all in all left me feeling content with the story that I was just told. Hit me on many levels, and very riveting. I think that's it for me, Frank. You go ahead.
Cool. Thanks, man. I agree with everything you said. I'll add, I agree with you. I hate the Oscars, but I almost want to watch it this year because I think it
would be nice to see him win something.
I think he will, so cool. And I definitely think Adam Sandler should win the Best Actor this year.
Well, we're having a problem with that in Joaquin Phoenix now, where we have these, really amazing performances and these interesting movies that gained a lot of hype.
I agree. I don't know if they'll give it to Joker and Joaquin Phoenix, but I will say it was a good performance. It was a great performance for Joaquin Phoenix, but not his career-defining performance. This is the best Adam Sandler's ever been, and I think it's the best performance of the year. I love Safdie Brothers stuff. I don't know if you saw Good Times, but just like Good Times, this movie they're so good with pacing, and the movie gives you anxiety in like a good way, because it just never stops, and you get inside this guy's head, and it really recreates the fucking anxiety of this dude's lifestyle and how he's constantly getting hit, doubling down on shit. He's losing. He's just digging himself.
And then he's going to dig him
deeper and deeper in the hole. He's just fucking addicted. And I thought this is the best. And it reminds me of Scorsese movies in a way, where he always focuses on people's greed and that downward spiral, and just the attraction to that lifestyle, and these characters that are dramatic and tragic characters, because they're just addicted to this lifestyle, and they know it's not going to end well. Probably they know the odds are against them, but they're just fucking addicted to it. They
believe the out is real, and it's really there, and they can do it.
Yes, and that scene where he's got that crazy bet at the Celtics game, that famous, the big scene in the movie, it just it communicates why people become addicted to gambling better than anything I've ever seen. You are so invested in this fucking game that happened 5 years ago, and it's not even like the NBA finals. It doesn't really mean anything historically, but it means so much to Adam Sandler's character that I don't know about you, dude, but I was on pins and needles, and every time Kevin Garnett made a shot or grabbed a rebound, and the whole tip-off thing, I'm like, what are they going to, the way this movie uses something that already happened, and something so small to just create huge drama out of this guy. It was fucking brilliant, man. I loved it. It might be my favorite movie of the year. It's definitely up there. I think it's perfect. I think out of all there's been 3 movies that are very Scorsese, besides there's The Irishman, which he did, and there's also The Joker, which is very inspired by Scorsese, and I think this one reminds me of Casino and Goodfellas. I think this is the best one of those 3. And
Joker kind of reminded me of Taxi Driver
Driver and The King of Comedy, for sure. Yeah, those are direct, got to be influences. But yeah, Uncut Gems is so fucking good. And if you see just a couple of movies this year, I would recommend this is one of those movies you see. It's that good.
This is not for children. This is your one reminder.
Yeah, I mean, if you let your kids see Jack and Jill, though, and like Little Nicky, fucking let them see Uncut Gems.
Yeah, if you wasted their time there, you owe them a good movie.
Yeah, those movies disturb children on a whole different way than this one.
That's probably fair. So, yeah. But yeah, just really good. And I think it was really interesting to see The Weeknd and this small part there with that was just interesting.
Yeah, the scenes and like the nightlife and the way they show
like,
things.
They all work.
Yeah, those guys also love. I don't know if you've seen their other films. They love blacklight. So I fucking chuckled when he was like, "Yo, I need some blacklight
I need blacklight," or before I even fucking perform.
They love blacklight, so it was funny. It's like one of their signature.
Yeah, it's
moves.
kind of like a self satire there. It's kind of funny.
Yeah,
but yeah, and Lakeith Stanfield, man, just
great. He could be nominated for supporting. I think
absolutely. Keep bringing him on, man. Keep putting him in all these good positions to succeed, and he will, because that's what he's doing.
I love that guy. You know that. We'll speed around some stuff. We have a handful of stuff left, and we'll wrap this up. Have you seen The Autopsy of Jane Doe? It seems like a Josh movie.
I think I went to watch it and then didn't.
So this is on Netflix. I thought it was pretty cool.
I think it was like a horror movie with like a woman in like a medical lab or something. I think maybe I watched some of it. I don't remember, man. It was a while ago.
Yeah, allow me to explain and maybe it will ring a bell. It's a father and son, both coroners, are pulled into a complex mystery while attempting to identify the body of a young woman who apparently is harboring dark secrets. The father and son team is my boy, Brian Cox. You know, just talked about Succession.
Peacocks.
And Emil Hirsch. And there's like this such a charm. They're father-son, mortician team. And there's like this dark comedy. Like the movie starts, you show their routine and like how used they are to seeing dead bodies. And they have this passion and ability to, just do their job and figure out how someone died. So that was really cool. And then they get this one body. And, the movie starts to get darker and disturbing. And it was it's very entertaining. But the thing I didn't like about the end is the tonal shift where you think you know the rules of the movie. And you kind of feel like,
nah, fuck the rules, bro.
Yeah, like horror movies, you kind of, at some point early on, I like to know how cruel is this movie going to be? Do you know what I mean? Like what's the rules? Like how much
they have good surprise and they really take things to a different level and be like, holy shit, they just broke the rules of what I thought, and that blew my mind.
It didn't. So like when it makes its big move at the end, I thought it didn't kind of go along with the rest of the movie. Option, huh? Yeah, it didn't seem like it earned like the
fucking
ending.
Alien just comes out of the chest and is like
Not that. It's nothing like you kind of know where the movie's going, but it just seemed like it abandoned its own rules and what you were expecting, and not in a good way. Not like, oh, I didn't see that coming, and like, oh, that's how you decided to end that? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, just like they were talking about a super serious movie. And then, again, Godzilla came in and hit him with a catapult.
Yeah, exactly. But I would still recommend it. It's entertaining enough, but, the ending what kind of took the movie down for me, but it's still a good watch.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough, Frank.
And that's on Netflix. You watched Jexi, which is available for digital rental now. This looks like a really dumb comedy. This has got our boy Adam Devine from Workaholics. Mm. It's about what can happen when you love your phone more than anything else in your life. So tell me if I should watch this movie.
I think it's a cute, enjoyable watch, and I think you may enjoy it. I think you might find this even funny, Frank. This has a lot of extra characters. So really, it's like adorable Black Mirror, where the phone is like, "Do you accept these terms and agreement?" Yeah, it's like, "Yeah," and it's like, "You just accepted me to," basically the phone has a sentience about it, but it's lighthearted but also like a controlling woman at points, and you need to be involved in our relationship and this and that, trying to improve his life and do weird shit for him, and then goes a little psychotic and crazy. It's fun. It's kind of cute and adorable, and it makes you also constantly be reminded about how we're sucked into those devices. And I mean, it's not a constant, reminder throughout the movie like, hey man, don't forget, stop looking at your fucking phone. But it has like a really cute, adorable cast and a really cute romantic comedy feel between Adam and the main girl, who's Alexandra Shipp. Mm-hmm. And it's just, It's really adorable, man. And there's a lot of fun other characters. Ron Funches shows up in this movie. Michael Pena plays his boss. One of my favorite cameos that has a couple scenes is Wanda Sykes as the cell phone salesman. Fucking hilarious, dude.
That's interesting. You're kind of selling me on it. I mean, I don't mind dumb comedies, and I definitely feel like, you know, this concept has been touched upon in like You, Joaquin Phoenix, and like Black Mirror, like the dependency on technology and like where it could take us.
Yeah, and this is more of a lighthearted, fun version of that, where you get real life experiences, and you kind of learn from how technology can literally, you know, pull you and absorb you. Like the phone gets literally pissed when the girl's like, "Hey, let's go. We're gonna go out, but can you leave your phone?" And the phone's like, "Who dis, bitch?" I think I saw that in the trailer. Yeah, that was like exactly like things where the phone gets like fucking legitimately upset. Like, "Hey, what the fuck are you leaving me here for? That's fucked up. Don't leave me. Take me with you. I'm gonna follow you." Like he gets a little stalker. Yeah. I mean, but Adam Devine's adorable, man, and the girl's very cute, and I think the relationship is fun. And all in all, it's a cute story. It's fun.
I think the worst thing about the marketing of this movie was the title. The title's so bad because it's such a universal idea. Like everyone's attached to their cell phone. This could have been a big comedy. Like if you had maybe also that Adam Devine's just not that big of a star, but I'm thinking like 10 years ago, if this was like Adam Sandler or Paul Rudd, this would be like a $300 million comedy. It would have been huge because everyone relates to the subject. So you nailed that. And it sounds like it's funny, but the title's so dumb. You don't know what Jexi is. It's like movie titles need to work on where like you say the movie title and you get what it's about. That title like doesn't tell you anything about the movie.
Yeah, within reason for sure, and it probably isn't explained well. But
just use a dumb phone pun. Like there's got to be a phone relationship pun you could have used, and I bet you that movie would have been very successful.
Very possible, very possible. So Frank hates the name of the movie, but maybe he'll watch this when he's trying to like not think too much and see something adorable. It's kind of cute.
If they called it The Hang Up, boom, $200 million.
Oh my god, I feel like that movie already existed though.
The Hangover.
No, I think there was another one. But Rose Byrne was the voice, which was adorable.
I love her. Great voice too. Yeah. Good pick.
Yeah. For sure.
I'm really jealous. You've seen the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Did you see this like with the Q&A or did you just watch it digitally? How'd you check this one out?
I watched it digitally, Frank. They just released it.
So tell me, talk about it, but in the end I want you to tell me, like we used to do, should I rent this or should I buy this? Because I'm a big Kevin Smith fan like you.
I mean, I would buy it for the sentiment's sake, and probably because Kevin Smith is such a film fan. You know that DVD is going to be packed with so many extras, and I mean, he just loves to throw all that extra additional content in there. So I think there's going to be some value in that stuff. The movie's fun, and the callbacks are great, and the characters and reprisals, and the additions, and the self comedy, etc. It's fun. There's no hate here, man. I love seeing Jason Lee and just making sure he's healthy and okay. I miss him.
Yeah, I've actually ran into him. Real quick tangent. I've met him twice in person. He is as cool as you would want him to be. He's fantastic.
That's good. He was one of those comedy guys that fell off a bit, but he could have been one of those huge giant comedy stars. I mean, he made it pretty damn far.
He is. I mean, he's a rock star to people that love those movies.
Yeah, man, dude. Stealing Harvard was just so great, and everything he was doing. He just has that ability. It's shame. Fucking Jason Lee. Damn it. Skateboarding bastard. I love you.
Yeah. So this very much for you. I mean, I'm very sentimental. Like in many ways, how people feel about Star Wars, I feel about Kevin Smith, where I'm like, go ahead, make the same kind of movie every once in a while. So I am hypocritical in that way. But so you're a big fan of this. You thought it was like a worthwhile movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, if you're a fan of this View Askew universe and all their stuff, and seeing a lot of callbacks to great characters, and Jay being so fucking still out of touch, and the Kevin Smith plays both Silent Bob and he plays Kevin Smith because he's directing the reboot.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so he plays himself. That's like as a super energetic version of himself, and they're like, "We're gonna go fuck that Kevin Smith dude up." And it's like,
that's fucking funny. That's weird.
Yeah. So I think just a lot of the great circles, plot lines, and characters that we loved with a lot of new elements with his daughter, and and honestly they got a couple of good emotional strings in there. It was tough, but they got them in there. There's a few, just because some heartfelt shit occasionally, but it's the wacky adventures we know and love, and with some new good jokes and just classic things that I think we miss sometimes. Definitely not a waste. Go watch it, and I think for those fans and for people that know that Stan Lee was going to be in it, there are some sentiments around that and how that came into play, because him and Stan Lee were like friends for like 25 years or something.
Oh yeah, Kevin Smith. I mean, he really brought Stan Lee back into pop culture and like celebrated him before Marvel Universe became a thing, before the MCU became a thing. Kevin Smith, more than anyone, was like paying respect to Stan Lee and putting him in his movies, and showed him like as much love and respect than anyone in Hollywood. Before it was cool, he was like just fucking pumping up Stan Lee and giving him the respect.
Yeah, because he was a nerd that looked at this guy as the guy that he was, and was like, hey, but guess what? Now I'm a famous movie maker, and I still have these legitimate opinions. I don't think any less of somebody that impacted my life as such, and that's he was a hero of his and many people out there. I think there was a lot of heartfelt stuff in this movie, and you can tell it was made with love and not just made to make money. It was definitely made with the thought, intention, and nurturing that the characters that we love to see and their return.
That's cool, man. And yeah, I like Kevin Smith a lot, and whether or not you like his brand of humor, you got to give the guy credit. He's been making the movies that he wants to make, besides Cop Out, for like 20 some years.
And they make legit fucking hilarious references there for Cop Out.
That's cool. I didn't know that. I'm excited. I think we're gonna buy it. And you make a good point, man. I kind of forgot like a good DVD with features. That's like a lost thing.
I know. I haven't either. I mean, I don't own really many DVDs now. I think the last DVD I bought I can remember was Keanu.
Yeah, dude. I feel like what we've gained in streaming and be able to watch like The Irishman and all these cool movies.
That pisses me off,
home.
though. I miss all of that additional content. Why can't we access that content digitally? Why can't they put this shit on there?
Sometimes, like if you buy a movie on iTunes, they do have special features, and there are some studios like Tarantino's movies, like the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that's gonna have cool features. And Criterion Collection, it's a lot of re-releases where they add to them.
I want to see digital fucking additional features. Why can't
Netflix.
I get that shit? Yeah, I want additional shit. Mind you, something now that we're talking about random shit like this, Amazon Prime, how they do this, I like that they have the actors listed within a scene.
Yeah, the X-ray thing.
Yeah, that kind of like where you just kind of go up and you're like, okay, and it's kind of helps some identification issues in certain shows that maybe are a little bit more muddled.
Yes, that X-ray thing on Amazon Prime is really cool. And what Josh is talking about is if you pause any show or movie, it'll tell you who's on the screen. Which I think is really neat.
Yeah, no, I really dig that because it kind of, and also their character name. Mm-hmm. You never know when like some weird shit or it's a dark area and you're like, fucking, wait, what just happened? Who was that? What's happening?
It's great. Or if you watch with someone that's like, who's that person? What's their name?
Right,
like,
exactly. Shut the fuck up. Look up 1 second. Booyah.
Which one's Gene? Yeah.
Let me Google it. Hang on. Let me Google it. I'm going to ask Jeeves. Jeeves, who is that lady?
As we are approaching the 90-minute mark, I'm going to wrap this show up with, for the parents. This one's for the parents. Like I said, I got Disney Plus. I was doing the trial.
Bitch, you don't know any parents or have any parents. There's no parents.
I have parents. I have children that are parents. Okay. I checked out Bolt because my girlfriend loves this movie. The dog looks like her dog, so she made me watch it. It's pretty good. It's a straight up like action movie. This is 2008 Disney original film. The one thing I didn't like is that John Travolta voices the dog, but the movie's so good.
The burrows are the dog burrows. I'm a dog. Dog.
This is the end of respectable John Travolta, not because of this movie, just because of what he did with his life after Bolt. But it works. It works as an action movie. It's Disney, man. Like it's entertaining. There's enough going on there that you're entertained. There's not much depth to Bolt, but it's a fun movie. So if you have to watch it with a kid or something, or a family movie, or just someone who only loves dogs and dog-related movies, it works. You'll be entertained. And then I watched the fucking crazy mess that is Zootopia. Have you seen this movie?
Maybe. I don't know.
Zootopia is attempting to be one of the most woke cartoons in a long time. So quickly, it's about this city of anthropomorphic animals. And it centers around a cop who's a bunny, and there's all this stuff about how,
love bunny cops, dude. That's fire.
Bunny cops. She's the only bunny cop because they're bunnies can't be cops or whatever.
I'm out.
So you asshole. Best line of the entire podcast by you. But there's this whole conspiracy going on. It's about City Hall is doing something, and there's this whole corruption in the city of Zootopia, which is I guess in allegory, I don't know if it's a metaphor for America. It's very confusing. It deals with stereotypes
brainwash children
and racism, but the connections aren't so clear, and what this movie's trying to say isn't so clear, because it's all about prey animals and predator animals coexisting and how they
what
have.
about the zebra? Because he's black and white.
They don't really get into the color of the animals. No, it's more about predator and prey, and how the predators have been good, but then there's this campaign.
Maybe we should eat that fucking sheep over there.
Basically, there's a conspiracy where the predators start acting out and hurting prey animals, and
they murder them and eat them.
Kinda. I don't want to spoil it for those people that want to check it out.
And eat them. What's kind of murder?
But it's more about how the politics of these predators and how they're handled and how they're viewed, and how a couple small interactions can be exploited by the media and by politicians to paint a picture that isn't quite necessarily true and is meant more to divide the animals than bring them together for nefarious reasons, just for someone's small group of people's personal gain. So it's fucking weird,
Mayor
dude.
Peacock sent a picture of his peacock.
No, it's not BoJack Horseman. But it's interesting. I enjoyed it. It's very complicated, more complicated than I would expect, and I'm confused on who this movie's for because it's very over the head of children.
Brainwashing children, man.
Yeah, it's a lot. And my buddy was telling me about Frozen 2 and the weird messaging of Frozen 2, and I feel call me old fashioned, but if it does feel subliminal and brainwashing if the message is so heavy that kids that are the target audience wouldn't get it. There's so much going on. It doesn't really explain directly what it's trying to say, but it's fucking weird. And I want you guys to watch it and tell me what you thought of Zootopia.
If you play the soundtrack backwards, it's fucking Donald Trump's inauguration speech.
So that's it. This was a packed episode because we took some holiday time off.
We six-packed this bitch up and took some days off to enjoy ourselves. Fuck you.
Yeah, we did. I am podcast host number 2. That's my code name. For podcast host number 1, is there anything you're going to see next week, or anything you want to say to end the show?
Wait, I don't like divvying us up into numbers of 1 and 2. Can we be A and B, or can I be Chocolate Thunder?
Yeah, you're Chocolate Thunder, and I'm Vanilla Lightning. And This has been a very long movie podcast. Thanks for sticking to the end and listening to this.
Yeah, we're going to watch some shit. We're going to surprise you motherfuckers.
I'm hoping that I get to take some drugs and go see Cats in theaters. And
you need to stop with suggesting drug use in our podcast. This is family friendly. We're represented by Disney.
I take a cab service. I don't drive on drugs, but I like to see dumb movies on drugs, and I might see Cats on drugs. And
Frank is going to go be responsible somewhere and then take a responsible ride somewhere else.
And then I'll sober up and see Little Women, which is also in theaters.
They're so big, though.
Anything off the top of your head you're going to see?
I just started watching the John Mulaney kids show on Netflix.
The Sack Lunch Bunch. Yeah. Cool. I'll watch that, dude. We'll talk about that together.
Okay. I'm happy that excites you. There's a couple other sketch shows on there, but something called The Characters that I thought about checking out as well. Nothing particular. I don't know. I think this is a quick, sweet, painless, happy New Year, everybody. We did it. We made it. We're all here together. Fuck yeah, America.
See you next decade or whatever.
See you next decade.
Bye-bye.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.